Okay, so the moment we've all been waiting for, our senior mom moment, and I'd just like to take a minute to introduce Heather Nicholson. Heather met her husband Jeff at summer school at Carolina the very first summer after freshman year, and they married after 5 years of dating in college and graduate school. They just celebrated their 25th wedding anniversary last December, and they have two children. Josie, who was a 2019 St. David's alum, she's a junior at Belmont University, and she actually might graduate a semester early this December, which is impressive. Jax is a senior who will turn 18 on his graduation day. He has not quite decided where he will attend college, but he has some great choices. Heather is busy with family and life these days and took a job about 6 months ago working part-time as a graphic designer, which she loves. She also enjoys consulting family and friends with interior design, renovation, lighting plans, space planning, and decor. Her family has been in Raleigh for 14 years and at St. David's for 12 of those years. So it is my pleasure at this time to introduce to you Heather Nicholson. Heather? Oh, there she is. Hi, Heather.
Here, can you see me?
We can.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Good morning. Wow, this was quick meeting. Thank you, Courtney, for that introduction. It is truly an honor to be asked to speak and to give a senior mom moment. It's such a sweet tradition at St. David's, hearing from such a variety of moms, all of us with a story. So for those who don't know me, I am a bit of a talker and always have a lot to say. And embarrassingly, I kind of do interrupt a little bit. So I think it's from being raised in a family where I have a twin sister and also am one of 4 children. So if you wanted to be heard, you had to speak loud and you had to speak long. And so this morning, it might be a little dangerous that I have a captive audience, but I just want to know, or I want you to know that I'm excited to speak. I'm not going to say anything new here, nothing that you don't already know or haven't heard before, but it's definitely coming from my heart. So how did we end up at St. David's? Well, first and foremost, it was God's plan. When we moved to Raleigh in 2008, which was 14 years ago, gosh, where does the time go? Our oldest daughter, Josie, was going into the 2nd grade and Jax was just 4 years old. We didn't even look at St. David's as a possibility for a school. As you moms know, there are so many decisions and plans that go into packing up a house and moving from a different city and into a different home. And I am a task person. And so I could check one thing off the list. And it was, we were being wooed by a different school and they had a space for Josie. And so check, it's done. She's going to school. So fast forward 2 years. In the middle of the summer, we are driving past St. David's, and I remember this like it was yesterday. Josie was in the back seat talking with a neighbor, and we passed by St. David's, and she said, "That's where I'm going to go to school for middle school. I'm going to go there for 6th grade." And I looked in my rearview mirror, and I'm like, what is she talking about? How does she know anything about this school? I don't even know anything about this school. I know a couple of things had occurred at her previous school where she had been for 2 years, where things were kind of swept under the rug and excuses were made about having older siblings. And Jeff and I just decided to talk a little bit about her declaration. And she had gone to summer camp, missed an entire week of school. The last week of school when she was in 3rd grade, she missed it to go to camp, which is kind of odd that she wasn't afraid to miss the last week of school or didn't care about missing it. So she went to camp and there was a couple of girls from St. David's that were at the camp. And I think that she just found her happy place. She found girls who loved her and appreciated her and who accepted her. And it was complete divine intervention. So, within it was 1 week before school started and we were registering her and Jax at St. David's. Her going into 4th grade, Jax for 1st grade. They were still on the roster at the other school. Anyway, so previous headmaster Kevin Lockerbie once asked me, why did you choose St. David's? And I simply said, the bricks and the mortar. I think that's what makes St. David's a really, really special place. And I'm not talking about a beautiful new building. It was very different 10 and 12 years ago when we first came to St. David's. There was no PAC, there was no dining room with stage, there was no satellite athletic fields, there was no beautiful buildings. I'm talking about the building blocks that every school gives a child to create their own little beautiful selves, their own little independent beings. That's what St. David's has that we've experienced firsthand that other schools that we had been to didn't have at the time, was character development. In other words, a mortar. So if you will, mortar is a workable paste which hardens to build building blocks, to bind the building blocks such as stones and bricks, to fill and seal the irregular gaps between them, to spread the weight of them evenly, and sometimes to add decorative colors or patterns to masonry walls. It keeps the walls from crumbling. This is what the character development at St. David's does for our children. The spiritual growth, arming them with the armor of God, going to chapel every week, senior seminar where they were asked these incredible questions and they having to answer and respond and give support for it. This is what keeps our kids from tumbling. Please, they will make mistakes. They will fall, they will fail. But they have this mortar, this character development that's going to be able to help them find their path again. Let's face it, parenting is hard. It takes a village and a community to raise a kid. I'll never forget dropping my child off at school for the first few weeks, and I was just devastated that I am no longer the person that's going to be with my child all day long, nurturing them and loving them and teaching them. This is a person that I don't know. Who is this teacher? Does she think the same way that I do? But at St. David's, the teachers genuinely love our children. They guide and they teach by example of a loving God. They set high expectations for our children. They give consequences when needed, and they make each child accept responsibility. I love that St. David's has always said, your child has so many gifts from God, and we are here to help them find those gifts and to nurture them and to help them grow. I'm so thankful for this loving and supportive family from St. David's. In those first few years in Raleigh, the headmaster of the previous school that I mentioned would always say, be warned, other parents from your community and from your neighborhood and even from your own family are going to ask you, why in the world are you spending so much money to send your kid to a private school in Raleigh? That you are just you're sheltering them from the real world and you're putting them in a bubble. And she said, you tell them you are absolutely right. I am putting my child in a bubble. I'm keeping them as far away from the real world for as long as I can until they are equipped to be their independent selves. We are happy and blessed to have been able to call St. David's our bubble for 12 years. They've had 12 years to discover who they are and what they believe in. And they're better equipped to enter the real world with their firming building blocks of character. That's one thing that I can say with 100% certainty about my children at age 18. They are prepared to go off to college. They know who they are. Not only do they know their values, but they're convicted by their values. They will make mistakes, absolutely, and they will make decisions, poor decisions along the way, poor choices. But I feel better knowing that they're raised in a faithful foundation. They're able to show God's love for others and God's willingness to accept others and show others grace and to even accept and give themselves grace when they make those mistakes. So our children are very different, a daughter and a son, one who is very expressive. She's a little on the dramatic side and high-strung. The other is quiet and reserved, an internal thinker and processor, a little laid back. I have one who won't stop talking. We need a talking stick from preschool early on, from preschool just to get through the dinner so she would eat her supper. She calls me several times a week, sometimes even several times a day. The other who only speaks when he's asked a question, and usually it's with a sound or a gesture. Yeah. And sometimes we even get a word. But I have to say, things have been tough at times parenting. There have been tears, there have been hurt feelings, there's been the feeling of not being good enough, there's been failing grades. But Jeff and I have zero doubt that both of our children have blossomed and grown, even as different as they are, and the different experience they both had at St. David's, but they are both grown into such young, amazing adults or young adults. They've learned so much from their years here. Josie, through her involvement with the fine arts, drama, and music program, who would have thought that this shy, quiet child up until 4th grade would become center stage on and off the stage? And Jax, through his involvement with middle school golf team and the disappointment of not making the team his 9th grade year, but then finding the fight and the drive to be better, and then making the team throughout the rest of his high school years. Both of them developing such amazing spiritual growth and maturity, and also mentoring middle school students about Christ and sharing their personal journeys and their spiritual development just makes us really proud parents. This is why we are here, and each and every year as we've revisited if St. David's was the right fit for our kids. Through the years, we've always been impressed with our high school seniors, not because of where they've gone to college or what jobs they land or how many scholarships they were awarded. It was for who they were, as for their character. And if you don't believe me, walk down the high school corridor. Listen to these high school seniors, talk to one. They stand there, they look you in the eye, they stand firm on 2 feet, they converse with you, they're respectful. They talk to their teachers and establish relationships with not only their peers, but also staff who have become their mentors. I have to remind myself, why St. David's? It's the intangibles, things that can't always be measured, things that you couldn't see along the way. My daughter's spiritual walk as she led as spiritual prefect, the passion for serving for others and the love she has for service. And my son, who got 2 generosity awards and team spirit awards twice in 3 months, the service for mission work in Guatemala, they're serving middle schoolers in Bible study. The list can go on and on. So it really hit me this week. I've been preparing my son, our youngest, to get ready for college, and he is prepared. We've done the ACT, SAT test. We've made sure his classes and curriculum, he met the requirements for graduation. We have all these wonderful resume building activities, the college visits. So we've hit the milestones. I know he is ready. I know he's prepared, but am I prepared? Am I prepared to leave St. David's? I'm not sure if I'm ready to say goodbye to the pack. I'm not ready to say goodbye to the fine arts boosters. I'm not ready to say goodbye to Clutch, to Miss Ruth and Roof Relief. I'm not ready to say goodbye to Miss Chrismore, who prayed for my children when they went on mission trips. And I'm not ready to say goodbye to Dr. Greggs, Miss Gherkin, Miss Reynolds, Miss Katz, Sarah Jane. I could go on. And sweet Todd Humphreys, smiley face and always joking. Anyway, all the teachers and the administrators and the staff who helped my children become the young adults that they are, we will not forget you. You are a part of my children. You are a part of my family, and they have grown and blossomed because of you. The days can be long and the years go by fast. How many times do we hear this? Not as many times as you will hear when you're a senior mom. It's crazy. I have made mistakes. I didn't savor those random moments when was I there for them? What will they remember when they reflect on these growing years? I guarantee you it will be very different from what I remember. Today, I challenge you. I challenge you to record a moment with your child. Have a journal on your bedside table. Write down those little notes of fun things they say or cute things they do, or even the sad things, because you think you'll remember them, but time is not friendly to the mind. So write those things down. Keep a journal. Listen to them a little closer. Put your phone away for another moment. Love a little deeper. Cherish these moments. Get involved with St. David's. Embrace the community, because it takes a village. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Heather. That was amazing. We just so appreciate you taking time and sharing those special words with us and those reminders that we need to hear. We can't take any of this time for granted. So thank you so much.